A reading from the Holy Gospel according to Matthew. At that time Jesus exclaimed, "I give praise to you, Father, Lord of heaven and earth, for although you have hidden these things from the wise and the learned, you have revealed them to little ones. Yes, Father, such has been your gracious will. All things have been handed over to me by my Father. No one knows the Son except the Father, and no one knows the Father except the Son, and anyone to whom the Son wishes to reveal him. Come to me, all you who labor and are burdened, and I will give you rest. Take my yoke upon you and learn from me, for I am meek and humble of heart, and you will find rest for yourselves. For my yoke is easy and my burden light." The Gospel of the Lord. 100 years ago, my grandfather came over to this country as a little boy. Now, he was too small to remember much about the voyage, but one thing stayed with him his whole life long, and that was the sight of the Statue of Liberty as the ship came towards New York's harbor. As he used to tell us, when I arrived, Miss Liberty was just a young lady. And indeed, she was. A gift from the people of France, the imposing statue was built by Gustave Eiffel, designer of the famous Eiffel Tower, and was dedicated in 1886. It has become the symbol of freedom and shelter and refuge. Miss Liberty's torch burns as a beacon of hope for frightened, desperate people seeking a home or fleeing for their lives. After a long, arduous journey with the travel companions of tears and broken hearts, the sight of this majestic torch gave birth to tears of joy and hearts finally bursting with something other than despair. So it was for my grandfather. So it was for his parents. So it has been for countless souls arriving in this land. Engraved on a bronze plaque at the magnificent Statue of Liberty, one can read some of the most poignant syllables ever penned. A poem written by Emma Lazarus in 1883 to raise funds for the construction of the statue's pedestal. Give me your tired, your poor, your huddled masses yearning to breathe free, the wretched refuse of your teeming shore. Send these, the homeless, tempest-tossed, to me. I lift my lamp beside the golden door. Whether we are refugees and immigrants ourselves, or whether we are descendants of those ancient refugees who arrived on the Mayflower many generations ago, all of us are tempest-tossed travelers on the turbulent voyage called life. All of us tired, no matter our youth, poor, no matter our economic status. Underneath our brave smiles, we have all experienced moments when we too were frightened, huddled masses, as wretched in our sorrow and fear as anyone can be. Yes, we too have felt the weight of the chains we are dragging through life, many of them of our own making, some few forged by other hands. We too have yearned to break free and breathe free. As human beings, we too know the terrible feeling of homelessness, even when at home. For we know in our very bones we were made for a higher home we have not yet attained. The sea of life, the storms of human existence have tossed and torn and bruised and broken us. And each of us, without exception, longs to glimpse that glorious lamp guiding to the God-given golden door. In times gone by, my grandfather, together with all the desperate, frightened arrivals at Ellis Island, saw that torch, that light, that beacon of hope held high in the hand of Miss Liberty, and no sight could have been sweeter. We who are struggling through other waters with no less desperation and no less fear have just as much need for such an island of refuge, for such a flame of hope, for such consoling words of welcoming embrace. In vain do we search our shore for an Ellis Island, for a bronze colossus, for a burning torch lighting the way. In vain do we listen for words of comfort, spoken or engraved. It is the wrong shore, we think, always the wrong shore. But through the darkness, a voice is heard, a soft, sweet, soothing voice calling, "Come to me." And the invitation is a magnificent echo of the words found in New York's harbor. Or rather, the harbor's poem is the echo, and this the voice. "Come to me, all you who labor and are burdened." The words come now not from the pen of a poet who can praise the light, but from the lips of the Lord of light who gives life to the light. "Come to me, all you who labor and are burdened, and I will give you rest." Yes, give me your tired, your poor, your huddled masses. Send the homeless, tempest-tossed to me. And a hand points to the light of our longing, the flame that warms and illumines our life. The hand is not the proud hand of liberty raised high above our heads, but a gentle hand, a wounded hand, a hand pierced and pointing to a gentle, wounded, pierced heart. "Take my yoke upon you and learn from me, for I am meek and humble of heart." Is your heart wounded? Come to my wounded heart, and you will find rest for yourself. For only a wounded heart understands a wounded heart. Only a heart that has been pierced can pierce through the deepest darkness of your despair and fear and hidden sorrow. See the sacred in my heart and let it be reflected in yours. My wounds are deep, but my love is deeper still. With love, my yoke is easy. With love, my burden is light. You look for light? You seek the torch? See this heart on fire, burning with a power that cannot be extinguished, a fire with a force that conquers all fear. I lift this lamp beside the golden door. Enter now that door, for the flame in my heart is the flame of love, the only light that can light your way. So come to me, all you who labor and are heavily burdened. Come to me, you tired, you poor, you huddled masses. Come to me, you frightened, you worried, you grieving, you wounded. Come to me, and I will give you rest.